Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Michael Papinchak Show. This is a Formula One edition. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. We do video stuff, we do live broadcasting, and we do podcasts, audio only. This obviously is a video. And me and my friends were huge fans of Formula One, so I wanted to do a recap of the season so far. We've only had two races, and we are now just ahead of the Australian Grand Prix. So let me just do one of these here. If I just pull one of this, bam. Oh, no, that's not it. There it is. There it is. Okay. All right. So we have two races so far, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. And as you can see, Max is on pole and the number one spot on the podium for both races, followed by his teammate, Sergio Perez, and then a Ferrari driver. In Bahrain, it was Sainz. And in Saudi Arabia, it was Charles Leclerc. So let's go over the drivers and see how we're doing so far with the drivers standing. Obviously, we got Max on top, followed by his teammate Sergio Perez, and then Charles Leclerc from Ferrari. George Russell, Oscar Piastri is having a good season so far. Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton. Oliver Bierman had to step in for Carlos Sainz in Saudi Arabia because Carlos had appendicitis. And look, first time in an F1 car, and the guy gets points. Incredible. Nico Hulkenberg with one singular point, Lance Stroll with 1 point, and everyone else is at zero. Alexander Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Kevin Magnussen, etc., etc. So that's the driver standing so far. Obviously, Red Bull very strong, followed by Ferrari pretty strong. So let's go to the teams. What are the teams for this year? Red Bull Racing, like I said, number one. These are the champs. 87 points so far. Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen. The legendary, the historical Ferrari team, 49 points. Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc. Here is a little, well, there's a lot to talk about this year. There's already been a lot going on in the season. We're only two races in, and we have a little bit of chaos at Red Bull, and we have a driver change at Ferrari. But let's go through the teams first, and then we could get into the controversies. McLaren, 28 points. Okay, Mercedes with 26. Mercedes should be a better car. They should be, but we'll get into it. Aston Martin, Haas F1 team, Williams, another historical team, Kick Sauber, used to be Alfa Romeo. The second team for Red Bull, which is now Racing Bulls or RB. There you go. Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo. And Alpine, down here at the bottom, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon. So we have pretty much, very similar lineups from last year. A few changes here and there. So Red Bull Racing, the current champions, okay. Christian Horner, who's married to a Spice Girl, apparently stepped out a little bit. I believe the girl he was communicating with was let go or suspended. And there are rumors that if Christian Horner stays with the team, it could be very chaotic. Jos Verstappen has chimed in, Max's father, who is very instrumental in his career and very outspoken when it comes to his son's career. Will Christian Horner stay or will he go? And will Max leave if things become too chaotic? And I'll say why here in a second, where Max may go. Actually, I'm going to say it right now. Ferrari. In 2025, Carlos Sainz is out on the curb, and Sir Lewis Hamilton will be a Ferrari driver in 2025. I think this is ridiculous. I understand Ferrari obviously is an historical team. Many, many, many phenomenal drivers have driven for Ferrari. Most of them, if not all of them. Lewis Hamilton, towards the end of his career, cannot outrace his teammate George Russell for some reason. Russell doesn't seem to mind driving his Mercedes, but Hamilton just can't figure it out. So he will be going to Ferrari. I think he's going to create a lot of chaos at Ferrari. I saw that he wants to bring diversity to the team. How about winning races, Lewis? How about winning races? Diversity is great, but this is Formula One, and in Formula One, you happen to race cars. So why don't you focus on winning races? How about that, Lewis? Okay, good talk. So anyway, the top two teams here, and within the top four, I mean, McLaren's just hanging out. They're just racing, doing their thing. Piastri is out racing Norris, which I find interesting. But they're by 2026, this landscape might look very different. And with Lewis going to Ferrari, will Max jump ship and go to Mercedes because of the controversies with the tension in the team because of Christian Horner, who has been the team chief, their team principal since the beginning of Red Bull Racing. And for him to leave after all of this success would be quite interesting, but we will see what happens with that. That pretty much is the big news. Not much happening down here. So with Sauber, that was Alfa Romeo for a little bit. Basically, Audi has decided to enter F1 as an engine manufacturer. However, they have now taken over 100% of Sauber and will be a works team like Mercedes, not only having their own team, but also supplying power units potentially to other customers, other teams. And that's going to be very interesting to have Audi, a brand new Sauber's been around for a while, to have Audi in. You know what I forgot to do, because I was thinking about this as I was talking there. I don't know what's going on with the Andretti team. Like, I don't know if we're going to have an 11th team in 2026, if that's been decided yet. It's not something that I've been tracking very closely, but, Andretti once in F1, and it's very difficult and very expensive to enter F1 as a brand new team. It's a different story when you have a team like Red Bull, who took over, I forget who it was, like Mercedes took over a team. Red Bull took over a team, right? I think Haas was the last one to do it successfully, come in as a brand new team. Okay, he didn't take over someone else's operations like Audi is doing. Audi is just taking over Sauber and putting their name on it. Okay, they're not starting from scratch. This team is already in F1. They don't have to jump through all the loops of being a brand new F1 team. And I wish Red Bull's second team could just keep a name for more than a calendar year. I mean, RB Racing Bulls, that's fine. They're RB. I don't know why they just can't be Racing Bulls, but I guess it looks better on a logo and on their racing suits. I don't know. Just stick to a name. You know what I mean? Like, just be Red Bull Racing 2. I don't know. And Alpine, they got a big old goose egg down here. So we're going to have Audi in 2026. We're going to have Lewis Hamilton in red in 2025. Where is Max going to be next year? What's going to happen with Christian Horner? So many questions. 2 races in, and it's like silly season. And you know what? I'm here in the good old US of A. And in baseball, football, our football, basketball, there's like deadlines. Like right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're doing all this trade deadline stuff, right? We got new quarterbacks, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, the season just started, and Lewis Hamilton's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to Ferrari next year. So I'm now going to race in a car that really doesn't matter to me because next year I'm going to be in red. And I just find it interesting that they can just do this. And so, like, what does Mercedes do now? Do they even focus on Hamilton? Do they try to adjust the car to help him? I mean, they're going to do something, obviously, to be competitive because, even though Lewis Hamilton is Sir Lewis Hamilton and he's won all these championships, the team does have things that they get and achieve, based on his success. So they want him to be successful, they want their cut of the pie at the end of the season, but now he's moving on. So I don't know. It just seems interesting to me that they can just willy nilly move a Red Bull driver to win a race in recent seasons. But that is what it is. It's a big story. I find it interesting. We will see what happens with Max. We will see what happens with Carlos Sainz. We will see what happens with Lewis Hamilton. Sergio Perez, he might jump ship if Red Bull becomes chaos because of Horner. Who knows? We will just have to see. So far, we have had the races, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. We are headed to Australia next, and I'm looking forward to that. Let me see. There it is, Australia. And then, my computer's freaking out. There we go. Australia. I'm sure we will see a similar podium. Then Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Then Japan, China, Miami. I'd love to see it being in US. Formula One is owned by an American media company. I think they own like the Atlanta Braves and Formula One. And it's great to see more races in the States. I think we need more than this. I know there has been interest in New York in some capacity, but I think having one on the East Coast in Miami, and then they go to Austin, which has been around for a while. So that's the middle of the country. And then Las Vegas, a little more west. I mean, that's incredible. I would love to go to the Vegas race. Oh, my God. Would I love to go to the Vegas race? Maybe one season I'll do all three. I'll better start saving my pennies now because it ain't cheap. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Michael Papinchak Show, where I just went over the F1 season so far. I think it's going to be a good one. There's a lot going on. What I like about Formula One is it's drama, a lot of drama. We got Lewis moving teams, Carlos out on the curb, Horner, who's married to a Spice Girl, is texting someone else, some other side chick. I don't even know what the deal was. I came into Formula One via Drive to Survive. Like I think a lot of maybe people in general, maybe a lot of Americans who had never really been introduced to Formula One. Obviously, here we got NASCAR, IndyCar, etc. And what attracted me to the sport were all of the characters. You can't write this kind of drama. The past Toto Wolff, Christian Horner stuff, drivers maybe not liking each other, just the personalities are endless and it's fantastic. And if you haven't ever watched Formula One, try to watch a race. It's really incredible stuff. And it's even more incredible when you get to know the characters involved. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check us out at tmpspodcast.com, where you can find a lot other content that we have here at tmpspodcast.com. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.